Good evening, my friends. Here is Angie Stewart from My Inner Light here in Miami. And we are transmitting this live right now via Kardec Radio in Facebook. So if you're listening to KardecRadio.com in the website, I just wanted to remind you that you can download the Kardec Radio app and you can listen to hundreds of different studies, many different books via your cell phone. This is a blessing. This is a blessing for all of us that like and enjoy learning more and more. So wherever you are, you don't need to be in front of a computer. You just need to have your cell phone and you can continue the studies. So if you are new to our study, it happens every other Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And we always study two books. The smaller book we are studying right now is this one here, Among Brothers of Other Lands. So this book was psychographic by two mediums, Chico Xavier and Valdo Vieira. And they got many messages from many different spirits. And all the messages are related about Spiritism in Brazil, but mainly abroad. How the message of Spiritism can be brought outside of our country, outside of our own language, Portuguese. How is that possible? So each chapter is a new discovery for us, especially for us Brazilians living abroad. I am here, Miami, Florida, and lots of people that participate in the channel are also living abroad. And recently we have lots of friends living in Brazil, but studying English with Spiritism. This is a blessing. I always said to everybody many years ago, when me and few friends opened a Spiritist center in New York, the Spiritist center there was only in English. And then a lot of people are like, oh, no, English is too difficult. It's already difficult to learn Spiritism. Imagine in English. And I remember telling everybody, no. It's going to be double good because you will learn Spiritism and you will learn English, or you will improve English. And this is the same message I can give to you right now. You will continue learning Spiritism and you will improve your English, spoken and written, because it would be great if you could write some sentences or messages and we could communicate to this wonderful tool. The other book we read and study is The Gospel According to Spiritism. As you can see, it's a thick book and is a great book to study together, to study in a group, because many of the messages, even if Kardec really digested the messages from Jesus in the Bible and put in with the great comments of the enlightened spirit and his personal comments, it still can get a little bit confusing sometimes. So when we read together, it's almost like, okay, now I understood. So that's why it's so good to study together. So as we always do, I always ask people to put a bottle of water, because in Spiritism we believe the spirits can bless this water, and this can be our medication. And we start and end with a very short prayer just to connect us. So I would invite you right now just to calm down, close your eyes, and connect with the superior spirits. Dear God, beloved Master Jesus, at this moment that we start with our studies, we would like to ask for your presence, for your inspiration, your guidance, so all of us can connect with the superior messages, can understand, and most of all, we can put in practice whatever we are going to be talking tonight. Please stay with us now and always. Thank you so much. So be it. Very good, my friends. First of all, I have great news. As you can see, my cast is so much smaller now. I'm super excited. My life is getting much easier and less painful. So this is awesome. And when we talk about pain, this will be one of the subjects that we will be talking tonight. So stay tuned to understand what I will be talking about it. So let me just see if I can see the people who are here to say hello. Oh, some of the comments went all the way up. I can't see anymore. The only one I can see here is Betsy Sharafat. Hello, Betsy, from Manhattan. Oh my goodness, that's awesome. I opened the Spiritism Center in Manhattan. It's on 43rd Street between 5th Avenue and the 6th Avenue. The name is Inner Enlightenment. If you would like to join them or to visit them, would be great. They are right there next to Bryant Park. I miss them dearly. Love them. Love Inner Enlightenment. Very nice to have you here. Teresa Castro, my dear Teresa, you're always here. Awesome. Matthew Mills, hello, Matthew. Nice to see you here too. Awesome. Katy Liu, hello, Katy. What a nice surprise. Great to have you here. Hipólito from Brazil. Hello, Hipólito. You must be one of the people that I said are in Brazil, but are improving your English and continue improving the knowledge of Spiritism. This is a blessing. So Betsy said, Angie, do you speak Spanish? Yes, I speak lots of languages, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, English, French. Yes, I love to talk. Elsa Leal, hello Elsa, welcome. Very good to see new friends here today. So Matthew said, in that case, I wish I could learn Portuguese. I want to understand what Chico, Valdo, and others said when there were no English subtitles. I understand, Matthew. Yes, there are so many beautiful books and movies also that are just in Portuguese for now. You know, lots of groups of people are working hard in order to be able to put subtitles in movies and also translations from books from Portuguese to English. So if you imagine, like when we opened the center in the Spiritism Center in Manhattan 11 years ago, there were very few books in English. But nowadays, it's like hundreds of titles. So the improvement is great. It's great. So it's happening. It's happening. But calm down. We will help you with this too. Whatever you want to read a book, you can ask me, and if I know, sometimes they have translations that are not published yet. I can help you to find out if it's coming or not. Alicia Ramos, hello Alicia. Carolina Correa, hello Carol, nice to have you here. Carol also worked very hard in Kardec Radio. Cláudia Garcês, hello Cláudia, my dear. Juarez Júnior, hi Juarez, welcome. So let me see here, hello, lots of hellos, that's very good. So many new people here. Betsy said, yes, would like to laugh. Very good. Hercules. Hello, Hercules, my dear Hercules. Nice to have you here too. Awesome. Hercules also know a lot about Spiritism. So my friends, as I always say, please post your comments or your questions, and then we can make it a little bit more interactive. It's really, for me, it's very boring to be talking all the time. I miss my old two, I think it was Blue Jeans, that we were able to talk, so many people together talking. But soon we will have something like this happening again. So if you have the book, the book Among Brothers of Other Lands, we are going to be studying chapter 6 today. So as I always do, I read and then I comment. And whatever I read, if you want to start making comments, then I will go back and I read and then we try to interact. Okay, so let's go. Chapter 6, the title is By the Light of Truth. And this message was brought by the spirit of Emmanuel himself. But when the spirit of truth comes, he will guide you into all truth. He will not speak on his own. He will speak only what he hears, and he will tell you what is yet to come. Jesus, John 16:13. In which way will Spiritism win the huge obstacles that loom on its way? There are companions who ask, should we dispute political projection or dominate earthly fortune? Meanwhile, others emphasize the illusory necessity of verbal war to groups of people. Concerning this subject, however, we transcribe question 799 of the Spirit's book. Prudent and clear, Kardec asked the spiritual mentors of his work the following question. In what way can Spiritism contribute to progress? And in the usual logical way, they answer the following. By destroying materialism, one of the sources of society. It enables people to comprehend where their true interests lie, since the future life is no longer veiled by doubt. Men and women will better understand that they can ensure their future through the present, destroying the prejudices of a sect, caste, the color. It teaches them the great solidarity that must unite them as brothers and sisters. Wow, very beautiful. And then continues. Let us not illude ourselves in regards to our tasks. We are all called by the blessing of Christ to make light in the world of consciences, beginning with ourselves, thus dissipating the darkness of materialism in the light of the truth, not by the spirit of force, but by the strength of a spirit, expressing itself in service, fraternity, understanding, and education. So this message was brought by Emmanuel in London, England, August 10, 1965, by the mediumship of Chico Xavier and Valdo Vieira. So, beautiful message, as all messages from the enlightened spirit are always beautiful. This one is short and concise and very precise, because many times when we think about spiritism, we get like, especially in America, I'm talking about myself in America, with Americans or with people that do not speak English, do not speak Portuguese, I'm sorry. It's very difficult for us Brazilians because we think, oh, Portuguese, in the Portuguese language, we have so many books, we have a lot of literature about Spiritism. We have lots of people in Brazil who follow Spiritism, who understand the Spiritism, or even if they do not understand, or even if they do not believe, they know what is Spiritism. Because Spiritism in Brazil is really big. It's really big and well known. And I also can say popular, because the Spiritism is in the soap operas that all Brazilians watch soap operas, like 3 or 4 soap operas a day in different hours. People follow the soap operas, the movies, and even the jokes, everything. And it's like normal. It's normal to talk about Spiritism, even if you are not a follower. But when you bring Spiritism to America, even if it has been here already for many, many years, it's still difficult because it's a barrier. It's like it's something unknown. And I'm talking not about everyone. Please try to understand, when we talk about all the Americans, is never the general number, everybody, but a big majority, they don't know what it is. And most of the time when we don't understand what is something, we're like, no, what spirit, what spirits, no spirits, not good. I don't want spirits. Ghosts, no, I don't want ghosts. So people have like this barrier against it. But we always say, if they could be a little bit more open-minded, they would understand the beauty of it. They would understand the moral teachings of a Jesus that's spread in the whole doctrine, the power of a charity that Spiritism talks so much about it. But we can never lose hope. And we also have to understand that everything happens in the moment it's supposed to happen. Nothing happens by a chance, and everything has its time. So when we read the little beginning, then when it's talking that should we like try to promote Spiritism to bigger masses, like should we go into politics, into television, should we have, I don't know, something extremely big, like to broad to a very, very large audience, so people would know better or faster Spiritism. The spirits tell us, no, we don't need to do that. We don't need to do that because we cannot force anyone to understand it or to accept it. And if it's not the time for that person, he will see or hear about that and will mean nothing. Everything has the perfect time. And we also have to understand that we cannot impose anything on anyone. Never. We can impose anything, especially a belief. If it's something, I know that many times I say, oh, but it's something that's so good to me, something that helped me so much, so I would like everybody to know about it. It is good, but at the same time, it's not everybody prepared for that. It's not everybody open for that. But when the moment for that person arrives, that person will be seeking for that information. That person will want that information. So I believe this is really a big lesson for us also to learn how to control ourselves. I talk about me because I love to talk about it. But in the past, I realized that in the past, I was kind of imposing this in a lot of people. I wanted to talk about it when people did not want to hear it. And this is not good. So if someone asks you about, then it's different. Then it's great. This person is curious. This person would like to have some understanding. That's a blessing. But imposing something, it's never good. Never good. Listen to me. It's never good. So let me see if anyone asked or said anything here. So Juarez said, it's very easy to be spiritist in Brazil. The mission of you in the US is so beautiful. God continue bless you all. Thank you, Juarez. Yes, nowadays in Brazil, it's easy to be spiritist. Yes, it is. And it's beautiful. But it's funny, like when we think not just about spiritism, But when we think in religion in a broader way, how difficult it was to be a religious person. I'm talking about that just because I recently watched the movie of Papa Francisco, the Pope, and there is a mini series in Netflix, 4 chapters about the Pope Francis' life. Unbelievable, absolutely beautiful. And as all of you know, he is from Argentina, and Argentina went through the dictatorship. I think that's how I should say, when the militaries took the power of the country and they controlled the country. And it also happened in Brazil, and it was also very bad. But it seems in Argentina was even tougher, and 3,000 people vanished. 3,000 people disappeared, and a lot of those people, they were religious people. And even Francis and many of his priests' friends, they really faced a tough situation. They were murdered because whatever they were preaching was against what the military government wanted the population to believe and to follow. So when you think about that, it's like, oh my God, Pope Francis, we are talking not like 300 years ago, we are talking in the 60s, in the 70s. Very, very tough. So it's a blessing that we are living in modern times where the governments, especially in Brazil and in the United States, we understand there are many countries that are not like this yet, but one day they will be. So in these countries that are open already, we have a democratic regime, not just for the government, but also for religion. And we know Spiritism is not a religion, it's a philosophy of life. So you can be Catholic, but you also connect with Spiritism. So it's like you were brought Catholic, but then you understand the philosophy of Spiritism, and you connect and you believe and you understand and you want to do more. But at the same time, you like to go to church, to the Mass. So it's awesome. It's great. That's no problem. It's like you are amplifying your vision, your knowledge. So it's great for us to have this blessed opportunity to be online talking to people in other countries about this beautiful philosophy of life. So as I was mentioning here, Kardec asks about the spirits and about the same question. In the question 799 in the Spirits book, the Spirit said, the way to contribute to the progress of Spiritism is destroying materialism. Destroying materialism. And materialism in a broader way. Materialism of that type that the people that follow the materialistic philosophy, they believe when they die, that's it. It finished. There is nothing else after this physical body. Like they think when this physical body dies, that's it. It disappeared. Everything disappears. And in Spiritism, we understand it's not like that. We understand when this physical body dies, the spiritual body leaves. That's our spirit. Our perispirit keeps the same form and shape of our body. So the physical body will die. Okay, it's old, it's ugly, and the spirit is still alive and is good and is eager to continue learning. It's eager to continue the process of evolution. So for us, it's a blessing for us spiritists because we understand, yes, the person that we love so much will die one day because there is no way of escaping death, okay, if you don't know. We are all in the same boat, but we are going to go in different times, and it's normal. But the beautiful thing is that whenever this body dies, this spirit that's called right now Angela will have another body, will come back again, will be a baby again, will be a child, a teenager, and will be an adult again, and it continues. So we know the loved ones we have that they passed away. It's very painful. It's very painful when somebody that we love dies. But at least in Spiritism, we know that we will see that person again. And many times we have the blessing of connecting through our dreams. We go to sleep and we connect. We wake up and we remember, oh, I dreamed with my grandmother. Oh, I dreamed with my sister, with my uncle, whatever, my best friend. Yes, a lot of people say they dreamed, but we that study, we know this is not a dream. This was a spiritual encounter. So when our physical body sleeps, our spirit disconnects and is able to meet with the discarnated that are in space surrounding us. So this is a blessing. So this is a way to materialism to be destroyed when people start having this knowledge that the life goes on. And actually, The Life Goes On is a beautiful book by the spirit of André Luiz. It's the last book of André Luiz collection. And also it's a movie. And by the way, what's your name? Let me search for you. Da, 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 da. Where are you? Matthew. By the way, Matthew, this movie, The Life Goes On, it's on YouTube and there is English subtitle. So you can put The Life Goes On and it will appear. It is a beautiful, beautiful movie. If you never read the book is already in English too. But if you can see, this movie is funny, 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 and it's great. So as all the books of all the novels, the Spiritist novels, it's always a little difficult because as someone was saying, oh, you guys are Spiritists, you always start a book or you always start a movie with a lot of crying because there is always people dying. Yes, there is always people dying, but that's the way we learn because they die here and they go to the spiritual realm. And when they are there, that's when we start learning what they are going through so we can start improving our lives here, learning with their examples there. So this is one of the ways that we can expand Spiritism, destroy materialism. Do you guys have anything to comment about? Let me see what Teresa said. Materialism, attachment. Yes, earthly attachments. Yes, true. So materialism, it's many things, many things. It's not just the attachment. It's not just like a material things, you know, people that want to buy certain things, they are connected to certain things. Yes, this is also one of the characteristics that's very bad. We know that the people that are very materialistic in the sense of connected to material things, to possessions, this is very bad too. It's very difficult for them when they die to disconnect of these things. I will give you an example. Many years ago, I was in Brooklyn and I went to visit a friend that was working in a store that sold used things. I forgot the name, how it's called right now, but it was a store in the Brooklyn Heights. That's a very expensive area of Brooklyn. And usually the people that are very, very rich, they donate lots of their things because they buy new things. So they donate their expensive clothes or furniture or whatever. And a friend of mine was working there and he was all in the end of the store. So he called me and he said, go through the store and I am at the end and then we can talk. So I start going through the store. So I start seeing the things and well, I'm a girl, I love shopping. So I start seeing bags, shoes, and like, woo! And then I start going through and I arrived in an area that had like furniture, had like bigger objects. And then I start feeling really sick. I start getting like dizzy and I'm like, this is, what is that? I'm so good. And suddenly I start getting really sick. And then I try to understand and then I start listening. Someone saying, get out of here. This is mine. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Stand up. And then I'm like, my God, who is this crazy person screaming? And then I turn and I didn't see anyone. And I'm like, what? And it was like silent. And then I saw a man sitting. He was sitting on this couch, but there was nobody else screaming. And I'm like, what is that? And then I turned, continue walking, and I started listening again. So I stopped for a moment and I tried to understand what was that. And then I was able to see a lady, and she was a spirit, so she was dead. And she was screaming at this man who is sitting and he was reading a book, probably waiting for his wife. So he was sitting in this couch reading a book or a magazine, and she's screaming on top of him. And of course, he is not feeling anything at that moment. He's not feeling anything. But that woman, she was desperate. And then she started telling the story. I don't remember she was telling me or she's telling him, but she started telling that the whole area there was from her house. She owned the couches, the chairs, the table, the lamps. So that was her whole living room. That they probably, I don't know, her kids donated to charity to raise funds for some kind of cause. And she was like in desperation. So this is one type of a person being extremely connected to their material possessions. And when they discarnate, they get really in shock. First, they did not die. They are still alive. And second, they don't understand why their things are spread all over the place. So this is definitely a problem. When also we work in mediumistic meetings, we always have cases of spirits that many times they come and they do not understand they are dead. They say, I don't know what happened. I was sitting with my friends, and we recently had a case that the spirit said, I was playing cards, and suddenly everything got dark, and then I think I fainted, and now I woke up and I'm here with you. I don't understand what is that. So we immediately we understood that the person died, and she did not understand she was dead. She was like thinking, what happened? So in the mediumistic meetings, we have to be very careful because we don't want to shock anyone. We want to help them, enlighten them in a very positive way, in a very loving way. So we guide the spirits. We try to ask questions, trying to understand if they had any type of religious belief, if they understood what would happen after death. So that's how we go little by little until they have like some kind of insight and they understand. This is also extremely well explained in this book of André Luiz that I was just mentioning a few minutes ago. So let me see what else. Yeah, Teresa said about the earthly attachments. Good, I will check it out about the movie. Ivone Medeiros, good evening. Hello, Ivone, good evening. So, my friends, what else would you like to talk about? The way that we could, let's talk about what would be good ways to spread Spiritism. And let's talk about Spiritism in English, because that's a little bit more difficult. You know, in Portuguese is much easier. Just for you, we have an idea. I'm here in Miami, Florida. So lots of Latinos here, lots of Latinos. And I give lectures in few different Spiritist centers. And there is one Spiritist center that I give lectures in Spanish in the same day. The early portion I give in English, and the later time I give in Spanish. So just for you to have an idea, so what the time that I give in English, usually we have around 10 people there in the Spiritist Center. 10 people. You have to understand, I am in Miami. So Miami, the official language is Spanish. It's not English. Yes. Even the Americans who live here, they need to learn Spanish, although things get a little bit difficult. And in the same Spiritist Center, when I give the lecture in English, usually there are 50 people or sometimes more. Another curiosity for you guys in Brazil is that in Brazil, it's very different. I used to go to a Spiritist Center that had like 2,000 people a day. Yes, in Rio. 2,000 people a day. The rooms were gigantic, gigantic. Many things happening at the same time in many different rooms connected with huge screens. So the reality in America is very different. The reality here is very different. So we are a small group, and there are many different languages that you teach Spiritism, you know, Portuguese, Spanish, English. So the amount of people are much, much more reduced. But what we have to understand that we have always to plant the seed. That's the important thing, planting the seed. And I actually applaud this Spiritist Center because the founders, they are Hispanic speakers. They are not Brazilians. They learned Spiritism through Divaldo Franco when he came to Miami many years ago, and they got really in love with it. And the Divaldo was speaking in Spanish. They decided to open a place, and boom, beautiful, beautiful. It's in Spanish. But with the time, they realized, oof, we are in the United States. We are speaking our language, but we should do something to American or to English speakers too. So this is beautiful because they opened a meeting in English. Yes, very few people go, but it's a blessing because nowadays with internet, the lectures, the studies, they all go through internet. They go to their website, they go to YouTube, and then English speakers are able to have access to this information too. So we can never be upset or feeling that our work is not good or is not giving plants or flowers yet, because you know it's a process. Everything in life is step by step. You know, we can never be here and boom, jump, I'm gonna fall. We have to really do a good base, a very strong base, in order to be able to start our construction. So this is Spiritism in America. It's little by little, and it's a blessing that we have internet. And my God, Facebook, it's wonderful. Facebook, we have so many people, especially in Kardec Radio, you know, the Facebook of Kardec Radio, or the Kardec Radio website, or many Spiritist centers and many other speakers that give lectures in English. So we are all planting our little seeds. And maybe when our grandkids are speaking about Spiritism, then we'll be a little bit bigger, a little bit more well known. As we know in the future, but I'm talking about far future, in the far future, Spiritism will be well known in the planet. In the planet. I'm not saying Spiritism will be the official philosophy or religion of the planet, because that's not true. We will still have many, many religions, many, many beliefs, and many philosophies. But the materialistic or the atheist people will be really a small portion of the society. But all the religions will be more peaceful. Instead of fighting about who is right, they will mingle in what they have in common. So most of religions, believe in God, and they believe that you have to do good to receive good. They believe in charity. They believe in helping the other, and they will understand that Spiritism exists too. So it will be beautiful in the future. So I'm glad that we are able to be here, planting the seeds, working. So let's try to do our part. Let's try to, spread this good news. Let's try, instead of posting in Facebook violent things or things that are not good, let's spread beautiful sentences. Let's spread lectures. Let's spread something that you felt good. So if it's good for you, spread there. It's different than imposing it, because nobody's obligated to be in your Facebook page, for example. But spread there, put it there. If a friend of yours see and enjoys, awesome. In this way, we will be also doing our little part in this beautiful spreading knowledge of Spiritism in English to our friends and families. Okay? So now let's move on. Let's move on to the gospel. The gospel according to Spiritism. And today we are going to talk. We are still in chapter 5. Blessed are the afflicted. Just to talk about this title is already tough. I remember in the past when I used to hear people saying, blessed are the afflicted. I'm like, oh my God, who is this crazy that believes it? Because when, afflicted is a person that's suffering, is going through certain kind of affliction, something bad. And why are they blessed? Why is this good? So it was very difficult for me to understand. Like many other teachings of Jesus, they were very difficult for me to understand. So when I discovered the Spiritism and I started studying the gospel, for me, this was really like a revelation, because I started like, when you have that aha moment that you heard about something for such a long time and you couldn't understand, or you didn't have patience to really search for it, and suddenly you read and I understand. So this started happening to me so much that I was like, wow, this is really good, this is great. That's how I got so super excited with Spiritism, that I had to learn how to control myself, because I started in that way that if it's good for me, it's good to everybody. And as I mentioned in the beginning, no, it doesn't mean it's good for you, it's good for everybody yet. Because we don't want to be that negative person that's like, oh, you have to do this. Oh, if you don't do this, it's bad for you. No. It's always good. And whenever the person wants, it's good too. So don't worry about it. Vanessa Godoy. Hello, Vanessa. Nice to have you here, my dear. Long time I don't see you. So Teresa Castro said, also Heaven and Hell book speaks about materialism and nothing. Yes, awesome, Teresa. Yes, Heaven and Hell is a beautiful book with many beautiful stories, many cases, many examples. And a lot of people don't read because they're afraid of the title. Yes, you have no idea how many people tell me, oh, heaven and hell? No, 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 no. Is it separated apart just for heaven, apart to hell? Because then I read just heaven. And I said, no, it's not like that. But people get afraid of the title and no, I don't want to read that book. So it's like, no, we have to read all the books of decodification because it's the base, the base, the base, the base. The basic 5 books are extremely important for us to read. And if we can study, it's even better. But it's very important for us to read it. Oh my God, they went up so fast. Vanessa Anceloni. Hello, Vanessa. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Nice to see you. Nora Brasil. Hello, Nora. Vanessa Anceloni, Kardec Radio, YouTube. Yes, I was talking about Kardec Radio, Facebook, YouTube, the app. Nowadays, internet help us in so many ways. It's really a blessing. Yeah, Spiritist Magazine. My God, Vanessa is the champion of spreading Spiritism in Portuguese. She is the best of the best. Vanessa is really like the inspiration to all of us that really try to study Spiritism a little bit harder and that try to spread Spiritism in English, because it's a difficult task, but it's a beautiful task. It's a beautiful task. And I'm so, so happy to be part of this beautiful group that is always there working hard. And we are planting our little seeds. Little by little, our seeds are going to start becoming our little plants. And as I mentioned before, our grandkids will have maybe we'll have already the flowers of Spiritism. So let's see here. So Juarez said, I'm improving my English with Kardec Radio and learning a lot about Spiritism too. Yeah, Juarez, that's what I said. We can do both together. It's a blessing, it's a full package. You learn both together. So Claudia Garces said, we can spread it through our examples, trying to follow Jesus' steps and doing small things. Yes, the examples, the good examples is always the best thing, because people will say, wow, look at Angela. She used to be so nasty and now she's so nice. What happened to her? What is different? Let's see. And then they start like, oh, look, what is she doing? She's doing something different. And many things. So it's much, much better when we do something good and people try to understand why you're doing it, or what brought you to do it, or what's the reason for it. And then they start discovering, oh, because I'm really trying to better myself. Instead of pointing fingers to whatever people are doing wrong, I'm trying to analyze myself. I'm trying to do an inner improvement. And when we do our inner improvement, then we will be able to start helping others through our examples. So we need to know very well to be able to help others. This is so important, and many times we forget about it. So it's really tough. So, wow, Vanessa wrote a lot here. We have the app, Spiritism Magazine. Yeah, Vanessa, we have so much. And thank you so much for Kardec Radio helping so many people in so many countries around this beautiful planet. So, my friends, so we're in chapter 5, and we are reading today number 12. We have like 10 minutes. So it's good because I didn't want to start number 14 today, because number 14 is suicide and insanity, and it's a very tough subject. So I want to have more time so we can go a little bit deeper through it. But today we're going to study 12 and 13. I'm going to read just a few parts and make comments. So the title is Reasons for Resigning Oneself. So what is resigning? Resigning is really, accepting something that's not very good. So you resign with that. So you have to accept something that's not really good. But we are going to go through what does it mean. So number 12 goes with the words, blessed are the afflicted, for they shall be consoled. Jesus indicates simultaneously the compensation that awaits those who suffer and the resignation that leads one to bless suffering as a prelude to healing. These words could also be translated like this: you should consider yourselves fortunate to suffer, because your pains in this world are the debt of your past wrongs. And these pains, if borne patiently while you are on earth, will save you from centuries of suffering in the future life. Hence, you should be happy because God has reduced your debt by permitting you to repay it now, which will guarantee your tranquility for the future. So this is that thing that I was saying in the beginning. Wow, blessed are the afflicted. Ah, that's so difficult. But when we study Spiritism, we understand why we are suffering here. And then the people that do not understand say, it's a bad luck, or God is not good, or whatever they say. But it's not true. We understand that we are going through what we did in the past. So we made someone suffer that in the past. We caused some kind of suffering in the past. So we are just like learning. We are learning with what we did. So this is a good time for us to go through that. And if we can go through that faster, to learn faster, this period of suffering will end quicker. And God is all love and goodness. So God is a good, how can I say that? Good debtor. You say debtor? When we have to pay someone. Let's imagine we have to pay God. So he is a good debtor. I think that's the name. Because he will not be charging us with a full interest, with high percentages, because he is a loving mother and father. He only wants us to understand what we did wrong, and he wants us not to repeat it again. So there are so many beautiful examples that show this love of God. And I will give you only one because our time is really short. There is a story in Minas Gerais, Brazil, of a man that was a very simple man, very humble, poor family. He worked super hard. He was able to work his whole life, and he was able to open a business. And from this business, he started employing a lot of people in his simple city. And this city started surviving from his company, from a factory that he opened. But besides being like the owner of this factory, his heart was immense. He was well known of creating many charitable projects, helping people in different areas, donating things, employing people, helping people to open schools. So this man was really like, I think he could be a politician if he wanted. And everybody loved him and admired him. And then one day he was in his factory working, and an accident happened. And a machine that was on top of something fell and crashed his arm and broke the arm. and the fingers, but they were able to have, to operate him, and he was able to fix his arm, but two of his fingers were cut, had to be cut in the accident. And then because he was well known, a lot of people started, oh, this is so terrible. Look what happened to him. This man is so good, and a terrible thing like this happened. The bad people, nothing happens to the bad people. The good people, always bad thing happens. We know this always happens. There are always people that will say that. But we, in Spiritism, we understand that nothing happens by a chance. And this accident didn't happen by a chance. But this man, he was so good that this was not a problem for him. He said, I will recover, I will continue working, and I will do even better. And then months passed, and in the same city, there was a spiritist center who received a message from one spirit related to his accident. And then the spirit said that in a previous life, this man, he used to commit very bad murders, and he used to make people suffer really bad, and he used to cut the members of the people, arms, legs. Was not in the immediate previous reincarnation, but few reincarnations before. Then when he went to the spiritual realm, he asked to reincarnate and to lose his whole arm, because he wanted to go through an experience of what he did to so many people. He wanted to experience that in this one incarnation, so he could erase this debt in a faster way, understanding the pain to go through that. But what happened is that he was doing so good, and he had learned so much, that when he reincarnated, his whole set of mind was changed. He reincarnated with the aim and the goal of helping others, always helping others. And then the spiritual mentors, they start rethinking his reincarnation. They start saying it's not necessary for him to lose the whole arm anymore, because his mental state already his mental state already changed. That's when they rethought his reincarnatory plan, and instead of cutting the whole arm, they cut only 2 fingers. So this is to show us the goodness of God. We did so many mistakes, and God only asks us for a little portion of the payment. And people that do not understand it, they complain, they blame, they get angry. And that's also part of the chapter in number 13, for example. We have to understand that whenever we are going through something that's very difficult, we have to learn how to suffer. Are we going to suffer well or bad? What is the difference? Suffer, it's like, oh, suffer well. Who suffers well? Well, when you suffer well means you pray and you ask God to help you to go through that pain in the best way possible. You ask God to help you to have strength to overcome that situation. You ask God to help you to focus in other things, so your mind will not be focused on complaining. And what is suffer bad? Suffer bad is, why me? God is bad. My life is destroyed. Now I can do whatever. And we know when we suffer bad, we connect with negative energies. We connect with things that are not good. And we feel even worse. And this is not good. It's not good for us. And it's not good for anyone around us, because we become somebody very negative that attracts only bad things. So we have to learn with these beautiful tools that we have in Spiritism that whatever happened, it needed to go through. And with faith, with love, with a lot of prayers, we can improve ourselves and improve whatever situation we are going through, and have a different view of our problem, and have a positive how can I say, a positive feeling from whatever it's going through. So my friends, this was the teachings of the gospel today. I know that our time already finished and Kardec Radio already cut, so they are not listening to me anymore, just here on Facebook. But thank you so much for having all of you here with us. And I sincerely hope to see you again, not next Thursday, but the following Thursday. Okay? We will be studying chapter 7, Among Brothers of Other Land. Thank you. See you soon. Bye bye.